especially at an Olympic Games, everyone is so desperate to perform well that, especially in the 15, it can be pretty bouncy, pretty pushy. Mm-hmm. So I positioned myself in a safe spot, and every time I'd go around a turn, I'm pretty much running bone on bone at that point. So that didn't feel great. And every turn just kind of got progressively worse. And then there was a fall next to me, and I kind of had to juke around that. And that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for me. Welcome to the couch portion of this
the couch portion of the Beer Mile podcast here. So how are you feeling with the knee surgery? How are you recovering so far?
So far, so good. The first 4 days of my life, I thought I would never leave the couch again. It was actually the worst. I did set a personal best of most amount of pain that I've ever been in my life. And that was the night after surgery where I thought I was like cool and tough and like had a high enough pain tolerance to not really take the pain medication, even though I was definitely advised to do that. So that was exciting. Personal bests are always a good time. But
so it was significantly worse than when you actually heard it, because you said you were still able to complete the workout.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I heard it, I was just doing a drill that I'd done 100 times before and just had like a weird step, heard a pop, felt a pop. It was pretty painful for about 2 minutes. But then I told myself, this is a key workout, do one more stride, see how it feels. Did a stride, was fine, crushed a workout. Thought I was fine. Couple days go by, I was definitely not fine. It was super swollen. Difficult to walk. And but then the knee surgery was way worse. I feel like this is just all a cruel joke. Like I didn't do anything to deserve this, but here I am and doing well. Yeah. After the first 4 days, I started to feel better, and now I'm on almost a week 2. So it's going great.
That's good. So what is the timeline for being able to start, I guess, walking again, and then maybe jog a minute, walk 5 minutes, that sort of thing?
So this is a crazy injury. So I didn't tear my meniscus. My meniscus is like beautiful and intact, but instead what happened is I tore it off the bone. It's called a meniscus root tear. I did a medial meniscus root tear, which is a complete freak injury. It usually happens with overweight women in their 60s.
So not you.
So not me.
The complete opposite of you. Okay.
The surgery was actually pretty intense. They had to grab the edge of my torn root with 2 Kevlar threads, take those threads through 2 holes that were drilled through my tibia, and then sort of sew those threads onto a button on the other side of my tibia. So pretty serious surgery.
Very invasive.
Surgery. And it was really cool. We were at my post-op appointment yesterday, and the surgeon went through and showed me all these cams, and my surgeon's name is Dr. Hackett. He's at the Stedman Clinic, and is like the most amazing person ever. Like, he even texted me the night before saying like, hey, this is going to go great. If you have any questions, let me know, but you're in good hands. Best experience ever. But so where they were operating was a 4 millimeter margin of error. So really, really intense deal. But the surgery is really sure if I let it recover, but I'm non-weight bearing for 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay.
Which is a long time. Crutches for 6 weeks, and then the return to play is actually pretty slow. Yeah. So this is a big one. So I'll be out for many months. I saw I've been watching a lot of TV, and if you pause the TV, Comcast rolls through some pieces of news, and I saw Roger Federer is on his 3rd knee surgery for his right knee and will be out for, quote, many months. And so that's my tagline. I'm out for many months. We'll see what it looks like by the end.
Yes, you'll make the comeback. You'll make the comeback. So how was the Olympic experience then this year, like going in knowing you weren't at 100%? Were you able to still, I guess, enjoy the moment and be present in it, knowing that you weren't at 100% your performance ability? Yeah,
it was really an interesting way to be at the Olympics. I think most athletes, when they get to that level, have a certain ability to be slightly delusional. So that's one of my superpowers and also my biggest weaknesses. So I was sort of thinking that I want to stay as high of a level as I possibly can be without actually running, that maybe I could stand out of the starting line and run the standard for next year's World Championships.
Right.
I didn't say this out loud to anyone. And then when I said this out loud afterward to my coach and other people, they were laughing at me like, that is totally ridiculous that you could have ever thought that was possible.
Right.
I ran like kind of better than anybody thought I could have. Mm-hmm. That being said, I was just like riding this little happy line of like, this is so far out of my control.
Yeah.
I want to be there. I want to do the best that I can, but I also want to enjoy it. And honestly, I enjoyed Tokyo more than I enjoyed Rio.
Really?
I did. It was amazing. I think for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason being I had my training partners. And in Rio, when I was on the Oregon Track Club, we didn't have a lot of women on the team. And I found myself being alone a lot. And the village was really sort of far flung out in Rio. And not every athlete stayed in the village. So I found myself just kind of like really intimidated and overwhelmed all the time. But this time being in Tokyo, I'd done it before. I had my training partners to go to the dining hall with. I thought it was super cool that all athletes had to stay in the village. And I'm sure for my federation, you have to stay in the village. Other federations, it's not a requirement. Right. So I kind of liked it. It was like leveling the playing field a little bit.
For sure.
You also got to see everyone.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. So I just tried to kind of accept where I was, that like I could only do my best. And it kind of took some, I don't know. It took some sort of like looking into the future away from me, which made me stay super present and made me stay like super just involved in the daily and excited for my teammates and excited to go to the dining hall and eat udon for every meal. And it was really great. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was your level of pain like while you were racing? And I'm assuming kind of before, well, obviously after, but before the race, were you even really able to run the days leading up to it? Or were you just...
So it was really interesting. When I had first injured it, I was in Switzerland, and the doctor who read my MRI, which the whole like situation was amazing. Like Swiss medicine was like so on top of it. I went to the doctor. They gave me an MRI within 15 minutes of me being there. Jeez. They read the MRI within 15 minutes of me getting out of the MRI machine, and then told me what my injury was 15 minutes after that.
Wow.
Can you imagine? It was so cool. I was like, this is amazing. We're doing this wrong.
Yeah, we are doing it all wrong in the US.
So that was great. But also tragic because the doctor was really upfront, and I appreciate his honesty, but he had said, there's no way you can go to Tokyo and run on this. This is not possible. You need surgery, not today, but in the next few days. So, prepare to head home and do that. We'd gotten 6 opinions. When everybody woke up in North America, some Olympic doctors who had said, we understand your desire to do this, so here's a plan that you could potentially follow. So what I did was I landed in Tokyo on the 25th. On the 26th, I got the fluid drained from my knee, and I got a cortisone injection. And until then, my knee hurt. Like I was walking really slowly. I could get on the stationary bike, and once I got warmed up, I could like get some work. And so I just cross-trained from Monday to Saturday. I only cross-trained. I took one day to feel totally sorry for myself. I did nothing. And then I had one day where I felt moderately sorry for myself, got in the pool, aqua jogged for 11 minutes, and then got out and said, screw this sucks. But beyond that, I cross-trained until I got to Tokyo the next day, got it drained, got a cortisone injection. And then within about 24 to 48 hours, I thought like, hey, I can actually run on this, which it went as well as anybody could have.
That's pretty wild.
There was a spectrum. It was like, it might work and you can run. It might not work at all. And like I'll run 100 meters of the race and then drop out. Yeah. And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So luckily it worked pretty well. And I took 2 more days to cross train. And then I did pretty much no more than 12 minutes of running each day. But Joe found a way for me to be able to sort of test it enough. I would run 10 minutes to warm up, and then I would do like 3 track reps. And then if I was lucky, if I felt okay, I would jog a lap to cool down. If I didn't feel great, I would just sit down and ice. Mm-hmm. And then I could get on the bus and get back to the village and walk back and be okay. So it was really just like about pain management. And the day before the race, I actually did like a almost normal pre-race. It might have been a little bit much because the day of the race, I didn't feel great. Yeah. I was warming up and just like not super comfortable, a little bit of pain the whole time, and then started doing strides. Was just I think because I felt nervous and because I like wanted to do well, I could actually feel the pain more. So I just kept telling myself, this is your brain playing tricks on you. Just relax. Yeah. And Joe could sort of tell that I wasn't really looking great and told me to relax and just warm up slowly, just like let it come to me. And I did that. And I felt pretty normal running in a straight line. Yeah. That if the race was straight, I would have been great. But the turns,
and also race tactics of like moving around people and everything.
That was honestly my, what I was most concerned about is the jostling in the 15. And especially at an Olympic Games, everyone is so desperate to perform well that especially in the 15, it can be pretty bouncy, pretty pushy. Mm-hmm. So I positioned myself in a safe spot, and, every time I'd go around a turn, I'm pretty much running bone on bone at that point. So that didn't feel great. And every turn just kind of got progressively worse. And then there was a fall next to me, and I kind of had to juke around that. And that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for me. Yeah. And it took a lot to finish the last lap and not walk. I just kept telling myself, try not to show pain on your face and not walk. But it ended up being a good experience, and I was so glad that I was out there.
For sure. I don't know if it's just recency bias, but it seemed like this Olympics, there were so many more falls in really every event, especially the 15, than any other World Championships or Olympics. And it was nuts. I guess combination of the races being more tactical and slower and just.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is, I guess my read of the situation is that we were so desperate for this Olympics.
Yeah, true.
We're desperate for international competition. Everybody's been working so hard, and you don't want to miss a moment. So it makes you be a little bit riskier with like how you're gonna move and push and box and like get out of spaces. So I think a lot of it was just psychological. Like people were just trying. True. They just like desperately wanted to perform well. So yeah.
So before the injury happened, what goals had you set for yourself heading into the Olympics?
I wanted to make the final. That was my big goal. Yeah. And I felt like I had my season was like really up and down and wasn't going the way that I wanted to, but I spent every day of the season, but then particularly the last month in San Moritz, just like really wiping my mental slate clean and doing some really awesome workouts and doing stuff that like I'd never been able to do before. So I was really looking forward to that. And I was just in such a great place that like, hey, things can go not your way, right? But and you show up to the Olympics, like everybody has a fresh clean slate and can do anything. So that's kind of where I was leading into it, and in a really good place physically and mentally. So the Olympic final in the 15 is still elusive. So I'll have to try again.
Well, you only have to wait 3 years this time, which is great. Yeah. And then each year ahead of that, something to look forward to with World Championships too. So that's going to be huge. Yeah. So I guess, now it being August and the World Championships a ways away, I mean, you're pretty confident you can make the full recovery, ahead of this coming outdoor season? Or
it's going to be really interesting. I think for my entire career, I've been like really pushing it and really almost like risky with my recovery from injuries. So right now I'm not even focused on that. Okay. All I care about is that this meniscus attaches to my bone, and that's all I can really do. So today, I'm focused on, all right, can I drive a car? So just really one day at a time.
The little things,
little things. So of course that's always the goal, but I'm being pretty slow with with my brain, giving it some rest.
That's good. That's good. Well, best wishes to you. Best wishes in the recovery. And enjoy, as we were talking about before we started recording, and just enjoy the one chance in your life to be somewhat lazy.
Yeah, it's kind of
as
awesome.
You said, you had one day off where you felt sorry for yourself, and then you got right back into cross training. I think that's like true of anyone who's serious about running. Is like we see cross training as like a recovery day, but in reality, it's not really a full recovery day. So try to enjoy it at least to some extent.
I will. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks.